First up is the Army Camp. I'm going to go ahead and throw that right in S tier. Definitely think that is one of the biggest ROI upgrades you could have. Huge game changer the higher level they are. That's why at Town Hall 18, the Army Camps only give you 3 extra capacity per level because 5 is too broken. Barracks, depends on your playstyle. Some people only use dragons and, you don't really need to upgrade it very high to get dragons, and you get 3-star max level bases with it. So, it's good for having options, but it's not super necessary, but it's still offense. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in probably an A tier. You can't go wrong upgrading this. Any offense is going to be really good. Dark Barracks, I'm going to go ahead and say the same thing. A tier, just good for options and good for being offense. You want to max your offense ASAP. Dark Elixir Drill, any collector, I'm going to go ahead and just throw that in D tier. I might as well grab the gold mine at the same time. With Clash Anytime and the troops being instant and not costing any resources at all, just being able to farm all the events, so much loot's thrown at you constantly. You don't even need to upgrade these. Honestly, a total waste, definitely D tier. The storages, on the other hand, can be a bottleneck. So I'm going to go ahead and say that these are probably like a C tier. If you have nothing else except collectors, I would do the storages before collectors, but they would probably be the last thing I do on the list of all these Elixir upgrades. The Dark Spell Factory and the Spell Factory, I'm going to go ahead and throw those in A tier also. Definitely big game changers. It's nice to have. I'm going to take that back. I'm going to actually throw them in S tier because before you get them to a certain level, it affects how many spells you can bring with you. So it's kind of similar to the Army Camps in capacity, how many troops and how many spells you can bring with you. So I'm going to throw them in S tier. You want to get these leveled up as fast as possible. Hero Hall is also an S tier. When it comes to rushing your town hall, for example, the Hero Hall is a big bottleneck a lot of times. So you want to get this. This has to be one of the first things you upgrade every single town hall. Then, there's Hero Journey. There's unlocking the Dragon Duke, unlocking the Queen, the Minion Prince, the Warden, everybody. So definitely one of the first things you should be upgrading at every town hall is the Hero Hall so that you can rush your town hall faster and you could get more hero levels, more equipments, more ores. Pet House, I'm going to go ahead. I can't say it's the same level as Barracks, I feel like. So I'm going to go ahead and say you want to max your Pet House as fast as you can also. You want at least 4 pets with you, and you got to be past the Town Hall 14 pets, and they only get better as you go. Sneezy's amazing, Diggy, the Phoenix, the Fox, even the Raven. They're all excellent in their own way, and so you want to max this out as quickly as possible. The Workshop, I'd probably put it next to the storages here. I'd probably do everything else before the Workshop for the most part, because you could just bring most siege machines in your clan castle, so you don't necessarily need to bring them yourself. It's a nice to have, but I think the other things are probably better to do first and then do this after, but before storages and before collectors too. Blacksmith is an easy S tier. Definitely want to be upgrading this. I would probably put this right after Hero Hall. Want to upgrade Blacksmith to the max level as fast as possible. Unlock all the equipments you can, all the commons, and then maximum capacity while you're at it. A lot of good commons out there. Especially even Electrofangs. Electrofangs is great. Healing Tome, even Haste Vial has some uses. Obviously, the Giant Arrow, right? So definitely an S tier right here. The Warden. We're going to have an event this month from the 15th to the 22nd where you can use heroes while they're upgrading. The Warden won't be discounted during this time, but you can upgrade him and use him. But I would still say he's worthy of being upgraded during the Elixir week. And the Warden is in like 100% of armies, guys. Think of any army composition, any attack you see online. The Warden is in it. He's 100% use case, so I'm going to go ahead and throw him here also in S tier. You should be upgrading your Warden ASAP to max level. Clan Castle, S tier. Easily. This is probably the strongest offense and strongest defense in the game at the same time. I can't tell you how many attack strategies center around just clearing the clan castle, or how many attacks I've failed just because the clan castle delayed me 2 seconds with 3 ice golem and I time failed at the end. And as far as on offense, more spells, more siege machines, more troops to bring with you. Can't go wrong. Definitely try to upgrade the clan castle as quickly as you can. And the lab. The lab, I'd also say, is something you should be upgrading first at every new town hall. I'd probably, maybe I would do it like this: Hero Hall, Blacksmith, these in order maybe, and the Warden after that. Speaking of the lab, that's going to lead us right into our next tier list, which is going to be going over all of the Elixir upgrades in the lab. So I should first start off by saying the lab is one of the biggest grinds in all of Clash of Clans. The biggest bottleneck with the lab is that you can only do one upgrade at a time. Well, guess what? From the 8th to the 22nd, you could hire the Goblin Researcher for just 1 gem to do a second upgrade for you in your lab while doing one normally, like you would normally. So you have 2 going at the same time, on top of the huge discount for the Summer Jam Elixir Quest week. Starting things off here with the Archer. I mean, this is nice for cleanup, but it's really not doing anything. I usually bring 1 or 2 in my armies, so I would upgrade it. There are some people having some success with Super Archers, but for the most part, I would probably upgrade other things first. Baby Dragon, great for funneling a lot of meta armies using the Inferno Dragons either in the Sky Wagon in the Clan Castle or behind their Dragon Riders. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is probably an S tier upgrade. If you're using air, I would definitely upgrade this to max. Barbarian. The Barbarian is, kind of like the Archer, where some people might use it a little bit in their comp, maybe for some cleanup. Maybe they use a few super barbs for funneling purposes, but not too much beyond that. So unless you're using super barbs, I would probably skip the Barbarians. I'll put these in D tier also. Dragon Rider. Super meta. Just received a nerf maybe about a month ago because they were too broken. And they're still broken, still dominating the ladder in Legend League. Really powerful troop at every town hall that it's available at. Only gets better the higher you go. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in S tier. Electro Dragon. I was watching one of those Builder Hut interviews or whatever on the Clash of Clans or Supercell YouTube channel. In the interview, they said that 20% of all attacks are Electro Drag spam. I couldn't believe it. 20% of all attacks. Absolutely unbelievable. But that said, because they're so common, most meta bases are built to counter E-Drags because you don't want to build a nice intricate base to defend pro players and then E-Drag spam can clear it. So usually there's 2 tile spaces all over the base, so there's no chain value. It can clear a lot of new bases, but they're not really for me. I'm going to probably throw these in C tier. Better than the Archer and the Barbarian, but not by much. Dragons, these guys, super meta. People love them. These have been one of the best troops in the game since it came out in 2012. If you're using air, you're probably using dragons. I would definitely get these as high level as possible, as quickly as possible. If you're rushing a max town hall level on a new account and you can only pick 1 troop to still be effective in clan wars and ranked, it's probably the dragon. So I would say, this is definitely S tier all the way. Electro Titan is a troop. I mean, you don't really see it too much anymore. There's so much splash damage on offense now. Other troops can do its job better, which is clearing skeleton spells. You also have the Electro Boots on the Royal Champion. So you don't really see too much Electro Titan anymore. At the same time, still better than Archer and Barbarian, but kind of in the same class as that E-Drag. I'm gonna go ahead and throw her in C tier. Giants, no one's using these. Not super troop, not farming, not anything. No one's using Giants. Not even one, maybe one in one army somewhere to check for a trap once in a while. But no, you're not using Giants. I would never ever probably do this last. Now, Goblins, a lot of people like to farm with sneaky Goblins. I've shown multiple times on this channel how Valk spam is superior. They're not totally bad there. And also the super troop is good, like I said, for funneling purposes. If you're doing a queen charge, maybe you could snipe a clan castle that's exposed in a clan war or a town hall. Really, honestly, they're a solid troop all around. I'd probably put these in B tier. Healers, I have been using in every army for a decade. This is one of the most versatile troops. It's used in a lot of different army comps. Queen charges, Warden walks, Root Rider, throwers, super archers, Town Hall 11, Town Hall 18, doesn't matter. Across the board, healers, super versatile troop, and I would try to get these leveled up as quickly as possible. Throw them in S tier. When Meteor Golems first came out, they were busted. They received several nerfs before they were finally put to bed and outclassed by something else, but they were one of the most oppressive troops upon release. And nowadays, much less so. They have great stats still, but they're just outclassed by so many other things at this point, with new levels to other troops and buffs to different equipments. The Meteor Golems have largely been outclassed. They're going to go in C tier. Miners. This is tough for me because there was a time where Queen Charge Miners, Queen Charge Hybrid, really was my favorite army in the game. Nowadays, they're not really doing too much. Super Miners are not meta at all. Maybe you'll see someone running double Super Miners in their clan castle on defense to try to one-shot a Warden charge, but other than that, these are pretty much useless. I would not do these. I'd probably put this in C tier. Throwers, another troop like the Meteor Golem that was recently super oppressive. You could just do the one tile spam in the corner with Raid Gem and Life Gem and the healers stacked on top, and they had added a new healer level before adding a new Seeking Airmine level plus the Life Gem, so the healers couldn't die, which meant your throwers couldn't die, and it was just a mess. So that they've had some buffs, some nerfs, some ups, some downs, but overall the thrower is still super meta. Not quite as popular or as strong as the air attacks currently, but definitely a strong A tier. Unfortunately, no one's running around with Go Wipe in 2026, so the P.E.K.K.A. is really not the best troop anymore, but if you look at its stats, it still is kind of a monster, and the Siege Barracks brings not just one, but two P.E.K.K.A.s, and it's based on the level of your P.E.K.K.A. in your lab, so I would say, honestly, this is not the worst troop in the game to upgrade if you're using Siege Barracks sometimes, which I know a lot of people are. I'd probably throw this in A tier. Root Riders, it depends on your Town Hall. You know, if your Town Hall like 15, this might be one of the best armies you have access to. Really powerful when the Town Hall is a weapon. Fell off a little bit at Town Hall 18 with the Town Hall. If you plan on using the Root Rider army, I would definitely upgrade it. But, you know, other than that, objectively speaking, I'd probably put this at like, maybe like a B tier troop right now. Not the best, not the worst. It can get the job done in the right hands. The Wall Breaker, this is going to depend, you know, if you're using an air army and you're not bringing any wall breakers, it's not going to matter what level they are. So you don't really need to upgrade them. You can probably skip it for now. But, you know, I feel like a lot of armies are bringing 1 or 2 wall breakers, maybe even 3 or 4 if you're using a nice queen charge with the new monolith arrow. Personally, almost every army I've used in a decade has had at least 1 wall breaker in it, or 1 super wall breaker in it. So I would definitely put this in like A tier. This is super versatile. It just gives you a lot more options when you're planning an attack if you can open up a compartment of walls. The Wizard, you know, this is a cleanup troop, funneling troop, and there's others that do it better. At 4 camp space, it's not always the most efficient. It can be in some situations, but usually I don't really see people bringing much more than like 1 or 2 wizards. At the same time, though, just like with the P.E.K.K.A., the Siege Barracks spawns a bunch of wizards, and they're based on the level in your lab. So just for that, I'm going to bump them up. I would probably put them in like C tier. You know, I'd probably do them before Barbs and Archers. Just because they're in the Siege Barracks, I'll throw them in B. And the Yeti, last but not least. Yeti's a solid troop, man. Super Yeti spam is not a bad army at all right now. Kind of meta, can work against some weak bases if you have the right equipments. Yeti itself is a great troop for funneling, one of the best, because it can target anything. So it can help clear great pathing like that, while the Yeti might come out and offer some additional tanking and take down defenses from behind walls. Seriously, one of the most goated troops since its release. Super Yeti Blimp is, you know, Super Yeti Clone Blimp is also really powerful. I would honestly probably put this in like A tier. Unless you're using thrower spam, I'd probably put this even ahead of the throwers. And I did not want to leave out the spell upgrades. The clone spell is a really, really great spell you want to prioritize if you're using something like the Super Yeti Clone Blimp. I recommend this to all rushed accounts and new players. It's really easy and straightforward, really powerful for that matter. It can clear large core sections of the base. It can almost guarantee you get the Town Hall taken down every single raid, so you'll never 1-star. If you're not using the clone with the Super Yeti Blimp, you don't really see it in many other comps, but it's still a really solid spell, and I would probably put it in, you know, and honestly in like A tier, because I think that the Super Yeti Blimp can carry a lot of people. Free spell. Okay. This was, you know, once one of the best spells that you really wanted to prioritize. It's fallen off a little bit with Invis and Totem being around. That can kind of do its job better, but there's definitely situations where you want the free spell over the other two, and having that extra half a second or full second of freeze time can definitely be the difference maker in certain attacks. So, but again, with that said, some of the other spells can kind of do its job a little bit better in more situations. So I'll probably put free spell in like B tier. Healing spell, I don't know the last time I brought a healing spell in an attack. The only guy I see using it is this dude on YouTube that's doing Sui Lalo or Queen Charge Lalo at Town Hall 18 in Legend 1. Other than that, I don't see anyone really using heal spell. If you're going to be healing anything, it's probably with healers or the healing tome. Maybe if you're using super hogs, but yeah, I don't see anyone using the heal spell, and I'm not using it myself. I would definitely skip this D tier. Invis spell, however, this is one I would focus on. There are a lot of strategies that depend on the Invis spell. There's the RC charges. There's Duke charge with Electro Fangs. It can be a great spell to keep your Warden alive if you're Warden walking, or your Queen if you're Queen charging. Just take all the damage off of you and let your healers bring you back up to full. I'm going to say this is the first S tier spell. Jump spell, if you're using it, then I guess the higher level jump spell just adds extra time that the spell lasts, so kind of diminishing returns after a certain point. It's more than you need. And there's so many other ways to avoid walls, whether it's using air troops, heroic torch, earthquake boots. You don't really see a lot of jump spells. I'd probably put this in D tier. I mean, you don't get too much out of upgrading it. The lightning spell. You see some Zap Quake armies, so it could be nice there. I like using lightnings when farming a little bit. just to get some extra percent or snipe some drills or maybe some eagles for the achievement. But outside of like a Zapquake army, you don't really see anyone bring in 2 lightning spells. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't complement many armies. You know, if you were going to bring 2 to snipe an air sweeper or something, you're probably just going to use a giant arrow on it instead and bring 2 totem spells or a revive spell. That said, I don't think it's quite as bad as the healing spell or the jump spell. I think it has a little bit more usage than that, so I'd probably throw lightning spell in C tier. Rage spell, goated spell since inception. This is one of the best spells you could get upgraded. Tons and tons of different armies use this spell, so I would definitely recommend getting this. Throw this in S tier. I see lots of people use this with their RC charges to pull her back after a nice charge, and then throw her in with like their root riders or whatever after, or with a queen charge, or I use it with my warden walk. If my warden gets in a bad spot, I just like to pull him out. And so in those situations, like with the warden, it's really nice to have this higher level because then I can make sure I can pull all the healers with him. But if it's just the RC, usually like a low level recall will be enough. So as far as like, this is a good spell in a lot of different comps, but as far as upgrading it, it depends on how you use it for the ROI. I'd probably put this in like B tier, maybe even C, just because you don't really need to upgrade it if it's just RC charge. But if you have any healers in there, then you definitely want to get it upgraded. So I'll throw it in B, actually. The revive spell was not really used too much before the Duke came out. It was kind of weak, but now with the Duke and the Fireheart, some people don't bring any other spells anymore. They only bring revive and spam it on the Duke. A lot of armies will bring at least 1 revive just to get the Duke back up later in the fight after opening up with him. And the more health you can stuff into him right away, the better. So honestly, this is a really nice spell to get upgraded. I'd probably put this in A tier. Totem spell, broken. You see the post. I'm not even going to dilly-dally. Just S tier right away. You can bring it in your CC from Town Hall 8, maybe even Town Hall 7. It resets the aggro. It has 10k HP level 1. This is easily one of the best spells in the game. Probably the best spell in the game right now. Some comps will just bring 11 totems. It's had to get nerfed multiple times since it was released. And it's still broken. Definitely get these maxed out as soon as you can. And hopefully this is helpful to you in some way. Going into the Elixir week of Summer Jam, let me know what you think in the comments below. Happy farming!